What's up?
What up, man?
No, you didn't say it right.
Sorry. How am I saying it?
The way I said it.
Say it again.
What's up?
What's up?
There you go.
That's pretty good.
That's better.
That was better. I feel more prepared now.
Good. Well, that's it for the show today. So you guys
tune in next week.
Yeah. No, so hey everyone, it's Dad Bod Central Time. Your favorite thing to do on Wednesdays. I could only assume.
Obviously.
There's no Thursday night football on Wednesday. Monday night football is not on Wednesday. Sunday night football is also not on Wednesday. There's no Friday night lights aren't on Wednesday. Wednesday's like, other than I guess when it's hockey season, there's Wednesday night rivalries, but that's like the only sports thing that ever happens. And right now, the only hockey there is playoff hockey. So there's no Wednesday night rivalry. Basically, what I'm saying is you're in the right place and you always need to be here on Wednesday nights.
There's no NBA games tonight either, right?
Maybe. I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Well, if so, that'd be the second best thing you could be doing right now.
I don't think, probably not, because all the series are done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than Heat Celtics started already.
Yeah, I think that'll be the next game tomorrow.
Yeah, and then Lakers and Heat, or Lakers and Nuggets will probably be Friday. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I just checked. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Before we get started, we already started talking about sports a little bit. Before we get too far into that, Dad Bod Central, as always, is brought to you, is presented by Shoot Your Shot Sports and brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy, as a father, we take a lot of risks in life. For example, like whenever I'm tasked with cooking, like how long do I have to? How early do I have to pull out the meat to defrost? Then,
you know what I mean.
How long do I have to put the meat in to marinate, if you know what I mean? And then how long do you have to leave the meat on the heat, if you know what I mean, aka the grill? And there's so many steps. And to be honest with you, I struggle with this a lot personally because I love food. And when I go and make a steak or really anything, and if there's a marinade or a rub on it that smells just delicious, I have such a hard time leaving it on the grill for the proper amount of time because I want to eat it immediately. And it doesn't take long for that beautiful smell to come from the grill. Anyway, what was I talking about? Thrive Fantasy. So one of the risks, another place you can take risks in life is in fantasy sports. So Thrive Fantasy is cool because they allow you to select various player props under different categories for each respective sport. Each prop has a fantasy point total associated with the over or under based on its likelihood to occur. For example, you could take the over on Children fathered by Philip Rivers or the under on fathers presented by Kardashian Jenner family, and those would be safe bets. The more points a selection is worth, the riskier it is. So rack up the most points to win a share of the prize pool. Go right now to your app store, to the Google Play Store, and download the Thrive Fantasy app now. You can also go to their website, www.thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code FNFantasy when you sign up today, and you will receive an instant $20 bonus on your first deposit, 20 or more. So sign up and prop up today. We are the boys from Frustration Nation, also known as Furious George and
the man in the Michigan hat.
But for the purposes of this show, you can just call us Daddy. So, come on, sport. Let's go.
I like the come on, sport. It's very dad themed.
Yeah. What? So, come on, champ. Come on, sport. Come on, bud. Bub. Those are all like.
Bub.
Actually, I feel like bub is more like what moms call their sons, right? More than dads.
It's almost like that's more what you would insult another guy by calling him. I don't know if that's an actual
bub. Hey, bub. Yeah. No, well, or you could have like a father that is more insulting and be like, "Come on, fat soul, let's go."
That's endearing.
Yeah, I could see it though.
Yeah, depends how you say it.
I'm sure my father thought it, just probably at some point. So, adventures in fatherhood. We always like to start the show there.
Yep.
So for me, I'm looking at. I actually have a recent story and an old story. My current story is just a few minutes ago. I got back from a children's club at church. My daughter Everly, it was her first time getting to do this. It's called Cubbies, part of this program called Awana, and they get to go and a lot of if you listeners or viewers have ever been to a Sunday school, there's a lot of similar activities like that are done here, just a little more fun, I guess. And so she loved it. The poor girl has been just not had any opportunities during this horrible pandemic to really make any friends or be around kids her age that much, other than your son. Nothing against him, by the way, but just she hasn't had many opportunities to be around other kids, and she loves being around other kids like most kids do. And so it's really pained us as parents, because we're like, we want you to go have fun, we want you to be with these kids, but there's no kids for her to be with. And so having Cubbies starting up, and it's going to be a weekly thing, she's going to love it, and I'm a leader there, so I get to watch her have fun. So that is my first adventure in fatherhood. Definitely more of it's recent. It's more of just a sweet story. I'm just so happy for her that she gets to go and run around and have fun, jump up and down, sing songs, all that stuff.
Nice.
My other story is actually a story from this past summer, and I've had it on my notes for Dad Bod Central for several weeks now, and I just haven't shared it yet. And it's just a funny story, so I was like, what, I just need to share it at this point. So my other daughter, Hazel, she is currently 10.5 months old, and back when she was like 8.5 months old, maybe 9 months, my family and I, or my extended family being my parents and siblings, and then my family, my wife and our girls, we went to a blueberry patch, and I've never picked blueberries before. It's fun. I highly recommend. It's a good summer activity. You can get blueberry syrup or blueberry jam, or you can make it yourself. I know we had some blueberry pie here. It was very good.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice.
But this story takes an interesting turn. So my daughter Hazel, again, she's like 8.5, 9 months old when we go. Naturally, as kids do, they want to eat the berries as they're picking them. And we are letting Evie doing it pretty freely because she's 3. She can walk on her own. She can walk up to the bush and take the blueberries off. Hazel is a lot more, okay, I'm holding her. I'm trying to help her, pick the blueberries off. And of course, she wants to eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, between that, and then obviously we took a bunch of blueberries home. And then over the weekend, she was at my parents' house and she spent the night, and they had blueberries. And there was one day in particular, she had blueberries with every single meal. So then the one day we, she pooped, and we opened her diaper to clean it up, and it is weird. It is like lumpy and black.
Yep.
And we're like, okay. And it happened again. A second poop. And for anybody that's not a parent that's watching, when you become a parent, you will find out that a lot of your concern at that point in life is dictated on your child's poop.
It's like reading tea leaves.
Yeah.
You have to be like, sift through it. Like, what's going on? No, it's like, you do have to, like, certain things they say, like, keep an eye on, so yeah.
I don't even know what to do with that comment. Odell, I think Odell would like any texture, any color.
He's the expert. Yeah, we should.
He probably especially likes like the green sticky kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so anyway, naturally we're concerned, so we look up what it could mean online. And of course, online, if any of you have ever looked up on a WebMD, usually WebMD will tell you basically that you have cancer wherever you're feeling that minor pain. So we kind of did the same thing. We looked it up, and basically these were the two answers we got. Either Hazel has internal bleeding, which is a big problem.
Yeah, that's not great.
Or she's eaten too many blueberries. That's literally the two options. That's why the poop looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. One is literally life-threatening. The other is too many blueberries, too many antioxidants.
Yeah.
So that's my Hazel poop story. I actually have a personal poop story I should share, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and share your adventure in fatherhood first.
Yeah. So yesterday, I came home from work early because my wife took our daughter Lila to get pictures taken of just her, kind of some pictures with her birthday coming up here in like a month. So yeah, going to get some pictures, and so I got to watch my son Levi, which was cool. It was kind of like a guy, a guy night, like stayed in. We built a fort.
Beers.
Yeah, yeah, some crack open some beers, watch the
Crack
game.
open a cold one with my son.
Yep. So but it was fun. Just because normally when I come home it's just kind of crazy. The whole family's here. Yeah, or I'm watching both kids maybe for a little bit. But yeah, to just watch him was fun. So yeah, all the fun stuff that like as a kid was really fun to you, like making a fort, throwing a football on the ceiling, like all the stuff that he just likes to do that honestly he probably was able to get away with more with my wife not here, because the house was just a wreck by the time it was like a frantic 15 minutes of cleaning when she was about to come home. So but it was just fun. Yeah, something different, something cool with just me and him. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was
that's
cool.
awesome.
And it was definitely an adventure.
Yeah, I can't speak to that because I don't have a son. But so I don't have guy time really. That's what the podcast and Dad Bod Central is for.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of cool. We each had like a story about like time with one of our kids, because I had Awana, Levy, and you had your
Mhm.
your trip to the bar with Levi. So
Yeah. And those are cool. They just stand out because it's like when you have multiple kids, not that you want to not see the other one, but one-on-one time with one of your kids, even when they're this young, is it's just cool.
yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, let's move on to some sports dad shout outs. Got a lot this week.
Yeah, we do. I was looking through that.
I think I found a better way to Google about dad news. So
Okay, because I was having a lot of problems finding.
I've had
finding
problems
anything.
every week. Like the first week I had a bunch, and then I've had trouble since then. So this week I think I found a solution.
Nice.
But we'll find out if I can find a lot next week. But this first one, courtesy of Richie Chicago, sharing this with me. Pau Gasol, former Chicago Bull, had a baby girl, and this is pretty cool. He and his wife chose to name their baby girl Gianna in honor of Gianna Bryant, who passed tragically in the helicopter accident with her father Kobe back in January. So that's a really cool little tip of the cap.
Yep, for sure. I liked that.
Yeah. Next up, we have Kyle Lowry, who, after the Raptors were ousted from the playoffs by the Celtics, he was quoted as saying, "I get to go see my babies," and basically he was saying, "Look, it's not all bad that we got ousted. Like I get to go home, be with my family." And I love when you see, I guess, athletes be more vulnerable like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just super cool.
And it's cool because I almost had forgotten the fact that they're even in a bubble because I've just been watching the games and enjoying that and the matchups. You kind of forget that they're locked down the way they are. Like unless it becomes a controversy, like people being brought in who shouldn't be, which has been interesting. But when you think about players being away from their families, I almost kind of had forgotten that. So kind of a cool moment of remembering. Yeah. Their dads too, so
the next one, this is super fun. I think maybe we have a picture for this too. Russell Wilson's wife Sierra, look at that is adorable.
Aww.
She dressed up their son like this, just like his daddy, like father, like son, right before the Seahawks game against the Falcons, which was this past Sunday, so first game of the season. I love that he even has he has pads. Like, do you see the pad? Like,
does he? Oh,
he's wearing like pads on his
knees.
Legs. Yeah,
like
and the eye black, and he has the little towel.
Yeah, like the hand towel.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's great. They went all out. What's up, Big Daddy Drew? Happy to have you here. I love that picture. The next one that I saw, and this is also another cool dad shout out, Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves took a 2-hour flight just so he could go to his first son's t-ball practice. So that's great. That's awesome to me. Like, it wasn't even a t-ball game. It wasn't even a little league game. It wasn't a t-ball game. It was a t-ball practice. Talking about practice. And Freddie Freeman took a 2-hour flight just to make it to his son's t-ball practice, and I thought that was awesome. Next up is this one, I was doing some research on this today, and I gotta be honest, I was like very moved by this story.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I'm just
like I was reading this I'm an English teacher, between classes I was reading this story, and I felt like my eyes welling up, sort of like it just So AJ Pollock, who's a center fielder for the LA Dodgers, he and his wife back in March had a little girl named Maddie Mae Pollock, but she was premature. I don't remember how early, but she was only like a pound and a few ounces. And for anyone that doesn't know about how all that works with preemie babies, they often have to go and be put in the NICU, especially if you're a pound. And there's a whole intubation process. And I've been fortunate that both of my daughters did not go through this, so I don't know all the details like some people do. Dang, Richie Chicago was a pound 6 ounces.
Wow,
that might be what she weighed.
Like
I want to find this out. It might be. I need to double check this. But as I'm looking this up, it was just so. It was honestly So obviously you have concern for your daughter because she's born and she's born that early, and she's born just a pound in weight. But then to take that even further, she was born in March, right? Well, what else happened in March?
Yeah.
COVID. And the rest of this article, when you read it, and I will, for those listening to the audio version later, I'll put a link for this in the description. And actually I'll try to make a comment on the stream here and put that out so you can read it for yourself. But basically, the rest of the story is AJ Pollock and his wife Kate having to take turns, because based on the hospital's policy, being in the hospital with their daughter who's in the NICU, fighting for her life, and knowing that there's COVID, obviously being concerned that you're going to pass it on to your very vulnerable child at any moment makes you concerned. So what hit me was like AJ and his wife could never be together with their daughter. Like it was like one could be with her, and then the other one would have to go out to the car and wait for the other one to go be with her. They're just taking turns. They're like never together. And then the worst part is
ICU.
ICU is different. ICU is intensive
NICU
care
is like
unit.
Neonatal intensive care unit.
Yeah. A lot of people call it NICU. It's technically NICU.
Yeah.
But I would love to be on the Power Hour. I would.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do that on Saturday. But now back to the serious story. No, but the thing is that hit me was AJ Pollock was feeling really sick one day, and he tested positive. And so there's a part in this article where it describes AJ Pollock was in his bed. He was in a separate bedroom in the house, trying to stay as separate as possible. And his wife is like outside the door trying to talk to him, and they're just like both crying, but they're just trying to stay separate so that she doesn't get it, being the mother.
And then she can see the baby,
so that she can still go. So then she had to get tested because she was exposed to him and all the nurses. And so then the mom and those nurses had to take 10 days quarantine to wait for their tests to come back. Because remember, this is earlier on in COVID. So there's a new set of nurses come in. The mom can't see the baby for 10 days. AJ Pollock can't be there for 14 days. Wow. It hurt me to read this as a father, and being through 2 pregnancies with my wife is just like, it's heavy stuff. And thankfully, in the end, in July, this is kind of funny. In July, in the NICU, their daughter Maddie pulled out her oxygen tube from her nose. and they were all like concerned, but the one nurse was like, let's see what she does. And they which yeah, I know it's a little yeah, but she was able to breathe perfectly on her own.
Wow.
And she was at an adequate weight. She checked all the boxes, and they were like, you can take her home. And so like since the day she was born in March, the first time all three, both parents and daughter, were able to be together was in mid-July.
Wow.
So quite a dramatic story. Again, I'll try to post the link here.
Yeah,
she was 1 pound and 6 ounces, Richie, just like you. So yeah, all right, Big Daddy Drew, thanks for stopping by. Because you said you have to go. But
yeah, man, good to have you, Drew.
Yeah, we'll definitely hop on the Power Hour soon. And if you want to check that out on Twitch, on the Twitch channel, that is this Saturday is season 2 of that. So again, I'm going to work on getting this link on the video here so you guys can read it for yourself. It's a very moving story.
Yeah. And any other sports dad shout outs?
Just the ones that we always have, which are...
Yeah, as always, we're going to shout out Philip Rivers and Antonio Cromartie, who have, between the two of them, are fathers to about half the kids in California at this point. So, congratulations to them and to Philip Rivers, his new dad, Gardner Minshew.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Gardner Minshew, I think, is everyone's dad.
Yeah, he was 19 for 20?
Against 19 for 20. Yep. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Minshew.
Just crazy, yeah.
Well, before we move on, speaking of Gardner Minshew, if you're into Minshew Mania and you want to buy a Gardner Minshew jersey, the place I suggest you go for that is the Fanatics. So Fanatics is your one-stop shop for all your sports gear needs. You can get jerseys, hats, shirts. You can get like dog collars there. Once I found a $10,000 Swarovski Notre Dame football.
I remember that. Was
no one needs, but you can buy it.
We almost bought it, but not. Yeah.
No, we did not almost buy it. But if you want to get that, go to shootyourshotsports.com/frustration nation and follow the link there to Fanatics. And if you buy it through our link, you get a little discount and we get a little money back. So that's kind of a great way that we can work together because after all, teamwork makes the dream work. All right. Well, I think let's touch base on our fantasy league, our Shoot Your Shot Sports fantasy, before we get into our game gab. There's a lot to cover on this episode. So let's start with you, man. Michigan Hat. Who are you matched up with this week for fantasy?
So actually, real quick, I just put in the other league we're not in, the non-Shoot Your Shot Sports. I just, after that conversation, I'm dropping Jared Goff and I'm picking up Gardner Minshew.
Good call.
Okay, so yeah, let me get my other league back up.
Well, while you're pulling that up, what I'll say is what you should do, listeners, if you're ever unsure about what you should do for fantasy, go check out our new show on Shoot Your Shot Sports. Not our new show, the new Shoot Your Shot Sports show called Shoot Your Shot Sports Fantasy Football Lifeline. It's on Wednesdays that it gets posted, and it has a lot of waiver wire suggestions. So definitely go check that out. It was very helpful for me, at least in affirming some waiver wire claims I already made.
Yep, and I still got to check the show out. I was just talking to Richie about it, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. So for sure.
But who are you matched up against?
All right, so Shane and the Inglorious Staffords are matched up against Dan Wow's OnlyFans.com. So coming off a big win against. Oh yeah, you just shared the article link. Cool. So yeah, coming off a big win against Jimbo, won by like 40 points. So feeling good, but maybe not.
What's up, Jimbo? Take that.
Is Jimbo in the chat right now?
I don't know, but if he is, I want to give it to
him. So yeah, this week though, I'm actually projected to lose this game at this point, 131 to 123. So some bad news has been right now a lot of injuries in the league.
Yes.
Big injury for me. My first round pick, Michael Thomas. Looks like he's going to be out for multiple weeks.
Was he put on IR?
Yeah, I believe so. They're talking about, I think their bye is week 6, and they're talking about trying to see if maybe he can come back after the bye. So not great for my first round pick to be out already. But
are you just gonna put him on the IR slot on our on?
So yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that and see. We do have an IR spot, don't we?
I think so.
Because I was thinking about picking up a running back actually, because I also have.
You have a million receivers.
Yeah, I do have a million receivers. Right now I've got David Montgomery in my second running back spot. But let me look at my roster. So not just Michael Thomas, I also have injury concerns with Galladay, obviously, who didn't play last week. Juju in the flex is questionable. James Conner, who's my other starting running back, questionable. So I've got some concerns and issues this week. So looking at some options for running backs, I do have Leonard Fournette on my bench, but I don't know. I mean, they face Carolina. So I don't know. I guess that's something I'm going to have to look at waiver wire possibilities for running backs.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a running back to recommend to you.
So I have David Montgomery. Tariq Cohen is available still. I hate having two running backs go for the same team, but I do think both are going to get considerable work against the Giants. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So I've been looking into that a little bit.
This is not a joke. Have you considered Adrian Peterson?
I have not, but I mean, that might not be a bad idea.
He looked good against the Bears. If he gets more carries.
Good. Yeah. And I think they will try to give him more carries because Johnson struggled a little bit. I do think he's still going to be getting the majority of those carries.
Yeah.
And then Swift, the work we saw from him, other than dropping passes, was mostly catching the ball. So I don't know.
A clutch drop pass.
Yeah, he's already been lionized.
That's right.
So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm trying to find ways I can make up some ground because it looks like I'm in for maybe a tough week. So what about your matchup?
Yeah, so I matched up against the one, the only Richie Chicago and the Chicago Bears, and I am Commit Me Bro.
Nice.
So looks like from the last time I looked at this, looks like Richie changed up his roster a little bit because he was projected higher than me, and then now he's projected lower than me. But projections are not the whole story, and that's for certain.
Yep.
So where I'm at is I'm
looking at our recent activity. Yeah, making some moves in the waivers.
Yeah. So okay. Since you brought up the waivers, the first thing I'll say is, so Richie, who did you have injured? Because I have George Kittle got injured, and he's listed as questionable. And from what I heard, he might be out for a week or two. Okay, Godwin. So who did you replace him with, Richie? Robbie Anderson. But I took your boy, Michigan Hat. I replaced Kittle with Hawkinson.
Saw that. That's a good move, I think.
Yeah, because I was looking at the whatever remaining tight ends there were, and there weren't that many great options. So I went with Hawkinson. So that was one move. The other move was, I don't know if you watched the Sunday night game that was Rams Cowboys, but Malcolm Brown of the Rams went off. And the minute that game was over, I went on the waiver wire and claimed Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
I dumped Tariq Cohen for Malcolm Brown, actually.
Oh, that's why he's available. Okay.
Yep. So Malcolm Brown, he had 26 points last week. And so he looks to be being the primary running back, getting most of the carries. So I took him. The other thing is I'm really happy that Marlon Mack is out for the year because
that helped you a lot.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, who I had drafted, now is essentially your starter. He's going to be sharing time with Hines. Unfortunately, I wish they would just give Taylor the ball for my own sake.
Hines is still available, right?
In our league. So. Yeah.
Because I was looking at him earlier.
Where are you now?
He is available.
But yeah, so then the other thing I switched out was I took out last week I had Terry McLaurin in for my flex. And he's against the Cardinals. And I took Terry McLaurin out and put Malcolm Brown in my flex as the running back. And I left Kamara and Jonathan Taylor as my 2 running back slots.
Okay.
And then my wide receivers, I still have Allen Robinson, and I had T.Y. Hilton last week, but I took him out and put Calvin Ridley back in.
How did he do last week? Because I like T.Y.
Which
Hilton,
one?
but T.Y. Hilton.
Hilton did. I mean, he had like, what did he have? He had 9.3. Wait, yeah, 9.3 points.
Okay.
But Calvin Ridley had 33.9 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of sucked. But you had Le'Veon Bell, Richie, and he's injured.
Yeah.
Injuries suck, man. And if
yeah. I don't know if it's going to be worse this year without the preseason. I mean, maybe I just don't remember what it's normally like, but it seems like it's injury heavy at this point.
If any of you watched the Shoot Your Shot Sports Fantasy Football Lifeline, that will, one of the points that Jordan, one of the hosts, was making was that not only are there a lot of injuries, but there's a lot of the backfields. The running backs are just, there's a lot of motion there. There's a lot of different running backs getting work. And so other than your big names like Kamara, McCaffrey, Saquon, Ezekiel, Elliott, you have a lot of like people getting mixed work, and it's hard to bank on one running back compared to the other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When they're kind of getting the work shifted around. So, but let's see. Richie, do you have anything to fire off about your team since you're facing me?
Hey, I think it'll be easier for me to come in.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah.
Let me go here. 1 second. Let me just rearrange this. There you go. All right. So I waited till today to actually do my ads and stuff because I see the prep sheet of the Fantasy Lifeline, so that'd be cheating if I were to do it the day before. So I want to keep it fair. So I probably should send the prep sheet to everyone so they can see it. So I don't, that's number one. Number two, do you guys know anything about Jarvis Landry? Because he's questionable. I totally missed that Browns game because it was a blowout. I missed it. I don't know what happened with that game.
I don't know. I know they only scored 6 points. I probably would. Let's see. Who else do you have for wide receiver?
I have a lot. I was gonna
Sanders, Marvin Jones Jr. He might be good against the Packers. I was seeing actually a lot of Lions fans talk smack to the Packers on social media today because Jones. Man,
he's projected really high. Like
people are saying Jones torches the Packers. Is that true?
And it's going to be a shootout. And I think the Lions are going to see this game as kind of a must win, which I don't know how realistic it is to win it. But because you're already 0-1 with a division loss in a game you feel like you should have won, I feel like the offense is going to be more aggressive this game, especially because I expect the Packers to put up points. So I think there's a really good chance Stafford throws the ball like 40 times in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
And with Galladay, I don't know if Galladay's out still. I haven't seen an update, but he's either going to be out or limited. I would take him for sure. Put him in.
It's going to be a close one, I feel like. It's going to be super close.
I'm a big Lions fan this weekend.
I can't take another close division loss. It's going 0-2 and losing 2 close.
But the Packers are like good. I don't know. I'm just hoping. I feel like what's his face? Rodgers is going on a revenge tour. So
he's pretty upset with the whole Jordan Love situation. But
what does give me hope is that worse Lions team have played the Packers really tough the past few years. So we'll see. But I do think that they throw it a lot. So
well, in terms of our matchup, Richie, honestly, it's really interesting. I feel like there's a lot of like Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson. Like the difference there though is Kyler Murray against Washington. Washington has a building defensive line.
Yeah, they did well in defense last week.
Didn't they have 8 sacks against Wentz?
Yeah, Wentz, but Wentz, like they have no offensive line. They just gave up. I feel like
like I'm thinking about taking because I'm looking for usually I do this every week. I pick up a waiver defense and just switch my defense every week.
Yeah.
So I've got the Colts this week, who I took last week, just based on matchup, which didn't work out great. But I was thinking about taking Washington this week. I don't know.
It's interesting because the Cardinals are kind of they're still up and coming in their own way. But when you have Chase Young just by himself as a force on the defensive line, and 8 sacks against the Eagles, I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know anything about Arizona's offensive line. So
me either. They're a dark horse for sure. I feel like they might actually do some damage this year.
Yeah.
The first place Washington football team.
That's right.
That's weird.
I have Lamar Jackson starting, but he's against Houston. And I'm spoiled for choice because it's either him or I could choose Russell Wilson against New England. And so I might still change
really
that.
New England might actually be okay with defense, I feel like. So I don't know.
I know. But Houston up the middle, you still have JJ Watt.
Yeah, true.
But and then Kamara, I have at Las Vegas. You have Derrick Henry against Jacksonville. I mean, you should definitely win that matchup just because it's Jacksonville.
We said that once though already.
True.
Yeah, I know.
But is Jacksonville's defense good?
I don't know who.
I mean, they looked good.
Better. Yeah.
Did they?
I didn't.
Was it Minshew Magic this year? Was it Minshew Magic? Did he do his magic this time, or is it more
Minshew
defense?
doesn't play defense though. That's
the defense
no.
was better than Minshew. Or Minshew was great, but the defense was a lot of why they won that game. I think Rivers threw 2 picks and they sacked him a few times.
Okay.
So I don't know how much of that was Rivers. I didn't catch much of the game, but
either way though, interceptions are going to get you points in fantasy.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how predictable it is that could happen again, but it's.
Yeah. So then running back wise, right now our matchup says that you have me beat in both slots. I'd probably agree with that. Although I think Kamara was weird. He had 9 yards rushing or something, but he had 2 touchdowns and a bunch of receiving yards and stuff. And since we're in a PPR league, he got me a bunch of points last week. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes off against Derrick Henry. Clyde Edwards.
I hope he goes off. It's Allaire. There's no H. I found it out the other day.
It's French. Allaire.
Yeah, it's French. Yeah. There's no H. I thought it was hilarious, hilarious, but it's Allaire, not Allaire.
That's lame.
Yeah. But he's from LSU. He's a stud. So
is that why that's why it's pronounced French probably too, because it's from New Orleans.
Yeah,
no, he went to LSU. I don't know if he actually was.
I'm joking. But so against the Chargers, I feel like the one thing the Chargers do have is a good defensive line because you have the Joey Bosa that's there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out. Wide receiver, I have you beat there right now with Robinson and Ridley.
I just put Marvin Jones instead of Landry. So
I think that's a good call. And I don't know anything about Robbie Anderson. Is he a number 1 receiver for Carolina or what?
I don't know, but he was on the
It said he got 25 points last week.
Yeah. He was
dang.
So for the fantasy lifeline, he was actually one of the top 3 people to pick up. So I'm gonna pick him up
good call.
Tomorrow. So
and then your tight end, you have
Darren
Waller. Okay, and I have Hawkinson. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a toss up for sure.
Oh, you have Chris Carson. He had a great week last week.
Oh, I know. I have a 6 flex. He's not even a flex. He's like an RB2, but it's so
yeah. And then I have Malcolm Brown, who would be my RB2 really more than.
He's good though.
Taylor.
I was trying to pick him up, but you hammered.
I picked him up. I literally picked him up Sunday night. Sunday night, after the game was over, I looked him up on the waiver, and when he was available, I was I'm taking him now. So, and then my 49ers defense only got 1 point last week because they lost to the Cardinals, but I think this week against the Jets, they better have a good week.
Dude, in my other league, I had the Vikings, and I had -6. I still won. That was hilarious. I was yes. I still blew the other team out. So I'm oh, that's good.
I hate it when the defense
gets negative.
It's negative points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because sometimes it's not their fault that that the score runs high. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times when the Bears defense, the score runs high, sometimes it's because the Bears quarterback puts them in a bad position. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys want Drew in for a little bit?
Sure.
All right, cool. I'll text him the link right now.
All right, cool. Do we want to chat about any of the games, or do we want to keep going on fantasy? Since Drew's coming in, do we want to talk?
We can keep talking about fantasy because I faced him last week. I lost by 5 points. It was brutal.
Right,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he even had the one guy sitting out. So who's he facing?
Yeah, he had Miles Sanders and he beat me.
Let's see. Who's he facing this week? Is he
I don't know. Let me see.
Man, I'm making moves on my roster right now.
We're all making moves live.
I just switched. Yeah, I did pick up Washington's defense. I put them in.
Cardinals defense.
Okay, so real quick, I'm thinking, okay, Hollywood Brown, Will Fuller, and Juju. Who's the better flex this week? That's my thinking right now. Because Juju list is questionable. Yeah. I want to start Fuller and Hollywood Brown, but I don't know if I
mean, if you're doing that, then I would put Juju as your
Juju. Yeah.
And I have AJ Green and Will Fuller to choose between. I just have too many receivers, honestly.
Here's something that is a good thing to note. I heard this year, and I didn't know this until people were speculating about the Bears depth chart. Apparently, this year in the NFL, what's up, Drew?
What's good?
Right,
what up, Drew?
I gotta go. I got a White Claw, but I gotta go outside. Hold on. Come on.
All right. But apparently, this year in the NFL, they do not have probable as a health status. It's only questionable.
Hold on. Hold it right here, like this. What up, though?
What's up?
Hold on, I got to shut. They told me I had to go out of the bar to shotgun the White Claw because they thought I was
COVID.
Spill. And I was like, I'm not Richie.
Yeah, I did spill. That was pretty bad. Have you guys seen the clip of me spilling it?
I think I was watching when that happened.
No, it was this was at a bar. Actually, I have a clip here.
Because I watched something else with you shotgunning.
All right, go for it.
Are we ready for it?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Angle it this way. You got to get the chain in there. No, I'm just playing. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm not chugging though, but I'm just gonna
I already drank all mine.
Tab placement.
Yeah.
Nice. Solid.
Good work. Good work. What flavor was that? Oh, nice.
Sorry.
No,
that's such a bad thing to do.
I'm acting like a degenerate tonight, which I really shouldn't be. It's a Wednesday night.
Yeah, right.
So, Drew, what did you think of your fantasy team?
Did you even see your fantasy team?
I thought it was Thursday. Wait, what'd you say?
Did you see your fantasy team, dude? You beat me last week.
Yeah, I know I beat you because I'm the shit.
No, dude, I was like this close. I was like, what the fuck?
No, you know what?
I
had my ESPN draft and my Yahoo draft in the same day, and I didn't realize they were in the same day. So I drafted my Yahoo and fell asleep during the ESPN one.
And you have a sick team. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's okay. I got a decent ass team.
It worked out, yeah.
That.
You and Danwell, you both auto drafted.
Yeah, Danwell's got a good team too.
Yeah, I'm cool with that though. Like I feel like, and even with one guy that scored 0 points.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that.
I know. I was like this close. I was like, yes, I have this. I'm like, nope. Lost by 5.
So
I was super excited. I was like, I seen Rich's post on the Shoot Your Shot Sports. I was like, all right, Rich.
You left him in on purpose too.
So what I want to hear, what made you go with Thanos as your logo, team logo?
You know, because I'm just gonna destroy people this season, man. That's all.
Wow.
Well, Thanos only destroyed half of people.
No.
So.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a very big fan of Thanos, dude. So, yes, the Avengers. I love the movies. I love all those Marvel movies. Love the good guys. But the way Thanos speaks, I fucking love it.
Yeah,
I fucking love it. My favorite one of my favorite quotes is in Endgame 2, where he comes back and he's like, It's something, I don't know the exact quote off the top of my head, but he pretty much says, "Your failure, where did that lead you? It led you back to me."
Oh yeah,
That's
the way
best
Josh
quote
Brolin,
ever.
the way Josh Brolin delivers that line is amazing.
Best fucking. And then another one of the things that I want to see is on HBO. What's his name that moved over from Marvel, the writer, to DC? His Justice League version is going to come out on HBO.
Is it?
Wow.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, Zach.
It's going to be a 4-part series.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the Zack Snyder cut. Yeah, I heard of it.
Yes.
I need to go back and watch that because I think they released part of it, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm going to wait till all of them are out, and I'm just going to fucking binge watch it.
It's a good idea.
Cool.
So I know the Man in the Michigan Hat. You haven't even watched all of the Marvel movies, right?
No, I'm behind, man. Yeah, I haven't even seen Endgame. So
All right, I'm going to catch up with you guys on the Power Hour. I got to go back inside.
All right,
All right, later, man.
sounds good.
Sorry.
Yeah, good to have you on.
Thanks for hopping on.
All right.
Yeah, I'm behind on the movies. I mean, I liked the ones I saw, but now it kind of just feels like I have so much catching up to do that
Yeah.
I just, whenever I do decide to get caught up, it's going to be like a lot. So I just haven't done it yet. So,
Shame.
Nice. You guys want to do Game Gab now?
I think for the sake of time, I think Game Gab, if listeners, viewers, you want to hear our thoughts on the games, you're gonna have to go listen to Frustration Nation. That's right.
because we actually are planning to really spend more time on that this episode, which we're recording right after this. So yeah,
Nice.
our next episode of Frustration Nation is gonna have a lot of game thoughts. So,
Nice. All right, I'm gonna hop out then so you guys can finish your episode.
Cool beans.
thanks,
Cool
Richie.
beans.
All right.
All right. So before we get too far into the rest of our show, we need to talk about the Shoot Your Shot Sports store. So we have a bunch of shirts up there now. Yep, there's some examples there. I know both Man Michigan Hat and I are both repping stuff from the Shoot Your Shot Sports store. If you go to shop.shootyourshotsports.com, you can find apparel for all the different shows. So there's stuff for like Shoot Your Shot Sports, the network itself. There's stuff for our show, Frustration Nation. There's stuff for Big Daddy Juice Power Hour, which season 2 starts on Saturday. There's stuff for Off the Cuff, all sorts of stuff there. So go check all of that stuff out. Hopefully we'll have a Dad Bod Central stuff up soon, so that way you can wear that. Only if you're a dad, though.
Otherwise, it's not allowed.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll ask for ID when you buy it.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to buy is that Shoot Your Shot Sports tank. That looks really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Richie has one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sent me a sexy picture of him wearing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So with no context, by the way.
Just the picture.
Yeah. So okay. So let's get into our dad jokes. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll give my joke first.
All right.
I have to get in the right mindset. So this is
If
definitely
if I had more water, I'd be ready for a spit take, but
so this one's definitely like a boomer dad joke just based on the content.
all
right. So Furious George, how do you weigh a millennial?
Weigh a millennial.
Like WEIGH. Yeah. How do you weigh one?
Something about student loans. I don't know. Go ahead.
In Instagrams.
Oh.
Got him!
I just like that
Very
one because
nice.
it's such a like boomer dad thing to do, to complain about those millennials and their Instagram, so yeah.
Well, no, you said Instagrams, and that's even more dad. Like,
Instagrams.
what you been doing on the Instagrams today?
Yeah, the Instagrams. All right.
I love that.
What's yours?
Yeah, so mine is one of those ones that's a little bit more of a story joke. These are like my favorite kind of jokes.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't figured out, listeners, I like to talk. So get ready for story time. Once upon a time, there was a snake, and this snake, his name was Nate. And Nate one day was journeying outside of his home, and he saw across the road this lever. And he was very intrigued by this lever, so he slithered himself over to the lever to check it out. And this lever there had a sign right next to it that said, "If you pull this lever, it will immediately end the world." And so Nate the snake knew that was not gonna. He needed to stay away from that, so he started slithering back home. And as he was slithering across the street back to his home, a semi was coming, was barreling down the road, and it was headed straight for the lever. And fortunately, Nate pointed with his tail at the sign, and the semi driver saw the sign, and instead the semi driver ran over Nate the snake and killed him. But he did not hit the lever.
What a sacrifice.
Yeah. But the moral of the story is it's better Nate than lever.
Got him!
I like it. The long setup. Yeah.
Yep.
The whole time I was just thinking, as he gets up to this lever, like, how is he going to pull this lever without arms? Like, that was my thought process, but it ended up not even mattering. So
no, it doesn't matter.
Nice.
I've got a little arsenal of these like story jokes, and I have one that's like a really long one to tell, but it has a great payoff at the end.
You should use that one next time. Those are funniest.
I don't know if I want to use it next time. I want to use it like maybe I will use it next time. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to save it for the right time, you know?
Of course.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Your Old Man. All right. So for me, telling stories about my dad, I have had, at this point, I've finally kind of gotten a mixture of like stories that paint my dad in a positive light and other stories where I just make fun of him.
Oh, hey, real quick. I just thought of this because you said paint. So remember our thoughts on the punishment of what was going to happen?
Yeah.
So I actually already did it. I painted my nails.
Beautiful.
Bear colors.
Oh, yes.
So I just thought of that. I thought I'd mention it, although you could still see it. So yeah, I have beautiful Chicago Bears colored nails.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're so pretty.
I just forgot to mention it earlier. So
yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I could have been going the whole show with that.
Well, next episode of Frustration Nation, I'll have them on the whole time too. So
yeah, so listeners, basically we said, Bears Lions was on Sunday, and we said that we said before the game that the loser would have to paint their nails the opposing team's colors.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like I was going to be having my nails painted for most of that game until pretty much the last play of the game. And so
as the ball went through Swift's hands, I had to paint mine. Yeah.
So you should tweet at DeAndre Swift and be like, "Look what you made me do."
Look what you made me do. Yeah.
So anyway, Shane's facing that punishment. You're wearing them through the next Lions game. Is that what we said?
I'll have to. Yeah, we'll look and see, because actually at work tomorrow we're gonna have like visitors coming in, so I don't know how that. We'll have to see what I can do. Maybe I'll wear gloves or something. So yeah, we'll discuss it on Frustration Nation. So yeah, tune into that and see what we decide.
Just say you're a germaphobe and keep the glove on.
There you go. Okay, but you were talking about your dad.
Yeah. So my story this week is about whenever I would play baseball. Yes, the white glove.
The Michael Jackson gloves.
Or you could go with the OJ glove. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Got him!
That's right.
Nice. Good job, Richard.
So so basically my story here is just I had like a stretch of 3 really good seasons playing baseball when I was in like 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. So I guess it's 4 seasons. I had a pretty good stretch of baseball, but up until that point, I was never really that good on the team. I really liked playing. I just wasn't good. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of me hitting and practice, like whenever I'd practice and stuff and even play games, I didn't get these huge hits or anything that a lot of other kids would get. And so after games, and my dad would always be like, "Kyle, you had a good game." And of course I'm like, no, I didn't. Like I struck out 3 times or whatever. And his response was like, "Yeah, well, you had a few foul balls, you made contact."
That's such a dadism.
Yeah.
Like, you made good contact up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, Yeah,
Yep.
you swung hard, you made good cuts.
Put a good swing. Yeah, good
Yeah.
cut. That's a good one
Yeah,
too.
you're gripping the ball well. You didn't swing at any bad pitches.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, you missed the pitches you swung at, but you swung at the right ones. Yeah, right.
So, I got a lot of that from him.
Yeah.
The main one was the contact. All the time I remember them being like, well, at least you got some contact.
Yeah.
And I remember at one, like as a kid, at first when he says that, you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I did
you're
get
right.
some contact. And then eventually you're like, okay, I understand I got contact, but the ball didn't go forward. It went backwards, okay? And that's not what I want.
Right.
So anyway, what's your old man story?
Yeah, it's a good one. So for me, this was obviously I'm a Michigan and Detroit fan. We lived in Detroit for a lot of my childhood. We moved there when I was like 11 or 12. But before that, we lived in Montana for a couple years. So while we were there, there's like nothing to do. And so at one point, we went on a picnic to the Badlands National Park, which I think is South Dakota, maybe North. It's one of the Dakotas, which it's all the same thing basically. So sorry if you're an offended North Dakota or South Dakota resident, but yeah, one of the Dakotas, Badlands National Park, and we took like a picnic. Our whole family got in the car and went. And I just remember getting out of the car and it being so hot and dry in the air that we opened our lunches that had these sandwiches in it, and within like 10 seconds, the bread had all the moisture like pulled out of it because of how like dry the air was.
That's crazy.
It turned into like a crouton. So I just remember that sitting there like in the sand eating this like crunchy peanut butter sandwich, just thinking like, what kind of picnic is this? So it's fun. Yeah.
I've never experienced that. I feel like that's something you'd have to experience to fully understand.
Yeah, the air is just like it feels different, you know. So it was funny. It was funny looking back. And it's now that I'm older, I'd want to visit again because I feel like I'd probably appreciate it more. But as a kid, I was just like, this is the worst picnic ever. So yeah, that was my
Crunchy
memory.
PB&J. That's like when some people are trying to be healthy and they like put peanut butter on a rice cake.
Yeah, it was
Need
kind of
it.
like a rice cake as far as texture, like a crouton. It's like the best way I can
I
describe
hate
it. So.
rice cakes are awful.
Really, you don't like them?
No.
Well,
not
people
at
do
all.
put peanut butter on them a lot. Which,
Good for them. Not interested.
Nice. So that's the story with my whole family, but my dad too. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and since I started talking about something that's usually deemed a health food, being rice cakes, let's talk about if we're being fit or fat this week.
yeah, good transition.
Yeah.
Okay, you go first. I feel like our
All right.
answers are going to be really similar this week. But
Yeah. So last week I was full on committing to being fat because there was football. It was gonna be Notre Dame football.
Yeah.
Bears football. We were getting together for Bears Lions, and whenever you get together, you have to have food. And my family, we've kind of started this little tradition. Back to a couple years, like I think it was the second year that we were married. We said on the first Notre Dame, or yeah, it was the first Notre Dame game of the year. We like picked like two things we wanted to make, and so we made these two really good football foods and just kind of snacked on that throughout the day.
Right.
And so that's kind of been our tradition. Whatever the first football game is of the season, which usually it is Notre Dame, we make all sorts of fun foods. We usually pick 2 or 3 things, sometimes 4, depending on the size of it that we want to make.
Mhm.
So I knew I was going to be fat. And I was owning that last week. But on Saturday during the Notre Dame game, my wife went on a walk and she was texting me while she was on the walk, and she was just like, we really need to get back into the swing of things. Like, we have not been faithful to our diet the way we should. And she said, I'm not blaming anybody, but it definitely feels exacerbated with us eating all this junk food during this football game. So this week I've been trying to be committed to eating basically being 100% on the diet. I feel like a lot of the times I'm more like 70 or 80% on it.
Yeah.
Where I'm mostly doing it, but there's always a few things I'm not following by the book.
Mhm.
And I was kind of very irregular with my workouts. So I'm trying to establish a better habit of
Nice.
getting up early. I'm trying to have some quiet time in the morning, do some workout, and just trying to be faithful to the diet. And as one Joel Embiid might say, trust the process.
Hopefully your process works out better than
Yeah,
his did.
at least a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah, similar for me too. The weekend, even though I didn't have Michigan football, so I have less excuse. But yeah, the process is
My
dead.
process is not dead. Do not squash my dreams, Richie Chicago.
No, the Philadelphia 76ers process looks like it's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's been good. Really, the way I'd summarize it, which this is usually true for me, is my workouts have been really good and really consistent, and my diet has been really bad and really inconsistent. Not just completely bad, like I'll do okay, but then like today,
Taco Bell.
yeah, Taco Bell gets in there sometimes. Or like today, I did really well.
Taco Bell gets in where sometimes.
Everywhere. Today, I did well with meals overall. I went to the gym, had a really good workout, but then McDonald's has, which I don't even like McDonald's that much normally, but they have spicy chicken nuggets now.
I heard about that.
So I had to try that.
When did that come out?
I think today. I don't know. But I probably shouldn't tell you this because you're trying to be more consistent with your diet, but they were fire. They were really good because it came with like this spicy hot sauce, like a chili sauce.
You're
I should have got.
I
like
watched
a
a
20
video.
piece.
I watched a video of someone else eating them, and they made it sound good.
It was for McDonald's, which I'm not a big McDonald's fan. It was really good.
Richie, did you have these too? Because you said
Yeah.
literally. Did you have these today?
I think today was the first day. I'm gonna look into that and see.
I might have to make a little trip before we start
Make a
recording.
little extension there. Oh, literally fire.
Yeah, literally fire.
Yeah, because they are. I mean, the nugget itself isn't too spicy. Like, look at me.
How is
Like,
it compared to Wendy's?
I'd say comparable, but the sauce for McDonald's is way better than any sauce I've had at Wendy's.
Is it just a hot sauce or
It almost
buffalo,
tastes
or-
like a hot buffalo sauce, but
Okay.
it's like a chili. It's got like,
Ooh.
because I looked at it says the ingredients or whatever on it. It's like, I think chili powder or chili flakes or something. So yeah, but yeah, usually I don't. Yeah, Richie went and got McDonald's last night too. So normally I don't have McDonald's that much, and I really don't like just their burgers or fries that much. But I tried this, so all that to say, like, I'll do well on my workouts, and then something like this happens where it's like, okay, it's out of my control now. I have to try the spicy nuggets. Like, I have no control over the situation, so just inconsistent with my diet. So
Gotcha.
which I guess at this point, if that's what normally happens, that's just consistency. So
Well, something I'd like to throw out there, and this will kind of be a teaser for the future. Looking forward here. I've been thinking about with this show, since we have fit or fat as a segment, one, maybe moving it up earlier in the show so we can talk a little bit more about it and make it more of a segment. But the other piece to it is I think it'd be cool if we both set a goal of some sort, and we'd have to figure out what's a reasonable, attainable goal over a certain length of time. And basically it's like us trying to meet that goal, and we could have some sort of wager with it, whether it's a punishment
faster,
or whether it's money, whatever it is. Yeah, whether it's whoever gets there faster, or
maybe it's like we
or
each
if
get a
you-
reward if we meet our goal.
yeah, or if you
deadline.
don't finish, you have a punishment that you have to face or something like that.
Yeah,
So that's
I like
something
that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll have to talk about what we might want to do with that, but I think that'd be a really fun way to help us get healthier and to also beef this segment up, because I think this segment is really interesting. And we can share more, even like maybe what we're doing each week to try to be more fit, like what's a workout we've been trying or something like that.
Mhm. That's a cool idea because I've already got a couple of different goals in mind.
Nice.
So yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Mine is 96 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what you
No.
want to weigh or lose?
Weigh.
You want to weigh
Yeah.
96?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for listening to this week's Dad Bod Central. Please go check out our other show, the Frustration Nation podcast, which is here on the Shoot Your Shot Sports Network. You can find it on the link that's been just posted below us. Before You can tweet at us at Real FN Podcast on social media. You can shoot us an email, frustrationnation@shootshotsports.com. Yeah, check out that show. That show is really the meat of what we do, the Man of Michigan Hat and I. So you'll definitely want to check that out if you like us on here. But before we go, just this last piece of fatherly advice: go find your dad, give him a big fat hug, and tell him you love him. But don't forget that you call us Daddy. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Same time, same place.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow